Hey guys, welcome back to another educational segment of Zilliqa Zebra. Now that MainNet is the new buzz, this video will explore some of the popular terms and phrases relevant to DeFi and will serve as a good foundation for those interested in researching further in this aspect of cryptocurrency. By understanding these buzzwords, you'll be less confused with these terms, form a better understanding of the DeFi space, and certainly impress your friends at the next dinner gathering. In this video, I'm going to cover a total of 27 buzzwords. While they are not exhaustive, these buzzwords are most likely the most frequently used and commonly used jargons, which you will find in almost any article, tweet, or video related to cryptocurrency. And of course, if you find this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to Zilliqa Zebra for more useful news, updates, and tips on all things Zilliqa. DeFi is short for decentralized finance. This is an umbrella term for a variety of financial applications in cryptocurrency or blockchain geared towards disrupting financial intermediaries. DeFi draws inspiration from blockchain, the technology behind the digital currency Bitcoin, which allows several entities to hold a copy of the history of transactions. This means that it's not controlled by a single central source. That is important because centralized systems and human gatekeepers can limit the speed and sophistication of transactions while offering users less direct control over their money. DeFi is distinct because it expands the use of blockchain from simple value transfer to more complex financial use cases. A stablecoin is a new class of cryptocurrencies that attempts to offer price stability and are backed by a reserve asset. Stablecoins have gained traction as they attempt to offer the best of both worlds: the instant processing and security or privacy of payments of cryptocurrencies, and the volatility-free stable valuations of fiat currencies. Stablecoins may be pegged to a currency like the US dollar, or a commodities price such as gold. Stablecoins achieve their price stability via collateralization or through algorithmic mechanisms of buying and selling the reference asset or its derivatives. Hodl is a slang in the cryptocurrency community for holding a cryptocurrency rather than selling it. A person who does this is known as a hodler. It originated in a December 2013 post on the Bitcoin Forum exchange board by a user who posted with a typo in the field, "I'm hodling." It's often humorously suggested to be a backronym to hold on for dear life. Centralized finance, called CeFi, allows people to earn interest or get loans on their cryptocurrency by lending or borrowing it through a centralized corporation. These corporations are responsible for the success of their products and the well-being of their clients. Though these firms may be using a new kind of money, there's very little innovation in terms of structure. When people talk about CeFi, they are primarily talking about neobanking, a kind of digital bank without any branches. These are fintech firms that are pushing to provide digital and mobile-first financial solutions. In CeFi's case, the focus is on cryptocurrency. CeFi is currently dominated by private companies such as Crypto.com, Celsius, Block5, and Nexo. Decentralized exchanges, or known as DEX, are a type of cryptocurrency exchange which allows for direct peer-to-peer cryptocurrency transactions to take place online, securely, and without the need for an intermediary. In transactions made through decentralized exchanges, the typical third-party entities which would normally oversee the security and transfer of assets, for example, banks, stockbrokers, online payment gateways, government institutions, for example, are substituted for a blockchain or a distributed ledger. Some common methods of operations include the use of smart contracts or order book relaying. Although many other varieties are also possible and with differing degrees of decentralization. MainNet is the term used to describe when a blockchain protocol is fully developed and deployed, meaning that cryptocurrency transactions are being broadcasted, verified, and recorded on a distributed ledger technology such as blockchain. In other words, a test net only exists as a working prototype for a blockchain project, while a MainNet is a completely developed blockchain platform for users to send and receive cryptocurrency transactions or any other kind of digital data that is recorded on a distributed ledger. Decentralized applications, also known as dApps, are digital applications or programs that exist and run on a blockchain or a peer-to-peer network of computers instead of a single computer, and are outside the purview and control of a single authority. dApps create an innovative open source software ecosystem that is both secure and resilient, and it allows developers to create new online tools, many of which pique the interest of global business markets. A distributed ledger is a database that is synchronized and accessible across different sites and geographies by multiple participants. The need for a central authority to keep a check against manipulation is eliminated by the use of a distributed ledger. Underlying distributed ledgers is the same technology that is used by blockchain, which Bitcoin uses as its distributed ledger. A distributed ledger can be described as a ledger of any transactions or contracts maintained in a decentralized form across different locations and people. Cyber attacks and financial fraud are reduced by the use of such ledgers. Automated market makers, or AMMs, are part of the decentralized finance DeFi ecosystem. They allow digital assets to be traded in a permissionless and automatic way by using liquidity pools rather than the traditional market of buyers and sellers. AMM users supply liquidity pools with crypto tokens, whose prices are determined by a constant mathematical formula. Liquidity pools can be optimized for different purposes and are proving to be an important instrument in the DeFi ecosystem. A liquidity provider is a user who funds a liquidity pool with crypto assets he or she owns to facilitate trading on the platform and earn passive income on his or her deposit. Liquidity pools are leveraged by the decentralized exchanges that use automated market maker-based systems to allow trading of illiquid trading pairs with limited slippage. Instead of using traditional order book-based trading systems, such exchanges use funds that are held for every asset in every trading pair to allow trades to be executed. How much liquidity providers are paid is based on the percentage of the liquidity pool that they provide. When funding the pool, they are usually required to fund two different assets to enable traders to switch between one to the other by trading them in pairs. Yield farming, also referred to as liquidity mining, is a way to generate rewards with cryptocurrency holdings. In simple terms, it means locking up cryptocurrencies and getting rewards. In some sense, yield farming can be paralleled with staking. However, there's a lot of complexity going on in the background. In many cases, it works with users called liquidity providers that add funds to liquidity pools. On the other hand, staking is an activity where a user locks or holds his funds in a cryptocurrency wallet to participate in maintaining the operations of a proof of stake or POS-based blockchain system. It's similar to crypto mining in the sense that it helps a network achieve consensus while rewarding users who participate. In staking, the right to validate transactions is baked into how many coins are locked inside a wallet. However, just like mining on a POW platform or proof of work platform, stakers are incentivized to find a new block or add a transaction on the blockchain. Apart from incentives, proof of stake blockchain platforms are scalable and have high transaction speeds. A non-fungible token, or NFT, is a cryptocurrency token that is indivisible and unique. One NFT cannot be interchanged with another NFT, and the whole cannot be broken down into smaller parts and used. NFTs offer myriad options for creating and trading digital assets, such as original artwork and blockchain-integrated collectible games such as crypto kittens. NFTs are useful for providing the scarcity and provenance of rare assets, both digital and real world. NFTs are mainly built on Ethereum using the ERC-721 token standard. A fork creates an alternative version of a blockchain and are often enacted intentionally to apply upgrades to a network. Soft forks render two chains with some compatibility, while hard forks create a new version of the chain that must be adopted to continue participation. In the instance of a contentious hard fork, this can create two versions of the blockchain network. A hard fork here refers to a radical change to the protocol of a blockchain network that effectively results in two branches, one that follows the previous protocol and one that follows the new version. In this case, or where we refer to a hard fork, holders of tokens in the original blockchain will be granted tokens in the new fork as well, but miners must choose which blockchain to continue verifying. Ethereum 2.0, also known as ETH2 or Serenity, is a next upgrade to the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum 2.0 will be released in multiple phases, starting in 2020 with Phase 0. Each phase will improve the functionality and performance of Ethereum in different ways. Ethereum 2.0 will involve sharding to drastically increase network bandwidth and reduce gas costs, making it cheaper to send Ethereum tokens and interact with smart contracts. There will be fundamental economic changes as well. Ethereum 2.0 will allow supports to staking nodes and earn Ethereum as passive income. In many ways, Ethereum 2.0 is a combined effort of thousands of developers who have worked for years to produce this. On the Ethereum and alternate coin blockchain, gas refers to the cost necessary to perform a transaction on the network. As transactions require the network to commit resources, such as compute, memory, storage, and bandwidth, it is important to ensure that the resources are not abused. To this end, the resources consumed to process each transaction is measured in a unit called gas. Therefore, if a transaction handles a single transfer of native tokens, it will lead to less gas consumed compared to a transaction that executes a complicated smart contract. Users issuing transactions then will have to pay to the network to process their transactions. The cost is proportional to the gas consumed to process the transaction. Now, smart contracts are self-executing contracts with the terms of the agreement between buyer and seller being directly written into lines of code. The code and the agreements contained therein exist across a distributed, decentralized blockchain network. The code controls the execution, and transactions are trackable and irreversible. Niels Szabo, an American computer scientist who invented virtual currency called BitGo in 1998, defines smart contracts as computerized transaction protocols that execute terms of a contract. Smart contracts render transactions traceable, transparent, and irreversible. Non-Ethereum blockchains, which may have fundraised via ERC20 token like Filecoin or Tezos, may want to breach into DeFi liquidity by locking up funds and creating a one-to-one peg certificates of tokens as wrap tokens. Blockchain protocols such as Zilliqa, Ethereum, etc. are siloed, independent systems. They are so disconnected because their underlying systems are very different in the way they achieve consensus, run transactions, for example. As such, it becomes challenging to move assets from one chain to another. Connecting Zilliqa to other blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Neo, Binance Smart Chain, amongst others, is going to be hugely beneficial because Zilliqa has comparatively lower transaction fees, which will be of great use for both the developers and the token holders. Plus, its high throughput can help run the most complex contracts without compromising speed, performance, and security. Airdrop is a token distribution method used to send cryptocurrency or tokens to wallet addresses. Sometimes, airdrops are used for marketing purposes in exchange for simple tasks like reshares, referrals, or app downloads. The crypto airdrop is a marketing method employed by startups in the cryptocurrency space. It involves delivering bitcoins or tokens to the wallets of current cryptocurrency traders, either for free or in exchange for a small promotional service. The airdrop is meant to spread awareness and increase ownership of the currency startup. Now, GZIL will only be issued when a user withdraws his or her ZIL staking rewards from the designated SSN operator. For every 1,000 ZILs earned as a staking reward, 1 GZIL will be issued. A flash loan is a relatively new type of uncollateralized lending that's become popular across a number of DeFi. These types of loans have made headlines recently because they have been used to exploit a number of vulnerable DeFi protocols, leading to millions of dollars in losses. Yet, advocates argue that flash loans introduce an innovative and useful tool to the world of finance for arbitrage and quick trades that weren't possible before blockchains. Flash mintable tokens, or FMTs, are ERC-20 compliant tokens that allow flash minting, the ability for anyone to mint an arbitrary number of new tokens into their account, as long as they also burn the same number of tokens from their account before the end of the same transaction. You can think of FMTs as credit tokens. Flash minting FMTs is like running up a tab, and burning the tokens at the end of the transaction is like paying off your tab. If you don't pay off your tab by the end of the transaction, then the transaction is reverted, and it is as if you never ran up the tab to begin with. Flash minting is a very powerful idea, but only if the tokens themselves have some value. Impermanent loss describes the temporary loss of funds occasionally experienced by liquidity providers because of volatility in a trading pair. This also illustrates how much more money someone would have had if they had simply held on to their assets instead of providing liquidity. The loss only becomes permanent if a provider decides to withdraw their liquidity for good. For Zilliqa fans providing liquidity via ZilSwap, you may run into impermanent loss as well, so do take note of this. DAOs tackle an age-old problem of governance, which political scientists and economists refer to as the principal-agent dilemma. This occurs when the agent of an organization has the power to make decisions on behalf of or impacting the principal, another person or entity in the organization. Examples hereof could be managers that act on behalf of the shareholders or politicians that act on behalf of citizens. In such setups, moral hazard occurs when one person takes more risks than they normally would, because others bear the cost of those risks. More generally, it occurs when the agent acts in his own interests rather than the interests of the principal, because the principal cannot fully control the agent's actions. This dilemma usually increases when there is an underlying information asymmetry at play. DAOs, on the other hand, involve a set of people interacting with one another according to a self-enforcing open source protocol. Keeping the network safe and performing other network tasks is rewarded with the native network tokens. Blockchains and smart contracts hereby reduce transaction costs of management at higher levels of transparency, aligning the interests of all stakeholders by the consensus rules tied to the native token. Individual behavior is incentivized with a token to collectively contribute to a common goal. Members of a DAO are not bound together by a legal entity, nor have they entered into any formal legal contracts. Instead, they are steered by incentives tied to the network tokens and fully transparent rules that are written into the piece of software, which is enforced by machine consensus. There are no bilateral agreements. There's only one governance law, the protocol or smart contract, regulating the behavior of all network participants. Governance tokens are tokens that developers create to allow token holders to help shape the future of the protocol. Governance token holders can influence decisions concerning the project, such as proposing or deciding on new feature proposals, and even changing the governance system itself. Governance token confer holders the power to influence decisions concerning the core protocol, product or feature roadmap, hiring and staffing, and changes to the governance parameters. All software needs mechanisms for being updated or patched. Unforeseen vulnerabilities might be found. In addition, the community could find that poor token design or unforeseen events have left elements of the code base irrelevant, non-functional, or even illegal. Finally, there are usually small parameters in the code base that must be updated over time. Tokens with governance rights confer holders some degree of influence over these issues, typically through a voting process, though this influence can vary remarkably. In order to participate in the cryptoverse or crypto narnia of activities, you need to convert your dollars into cryptocurrency. You can do so by starting an account with an exchange, going through KYC checks, and connecting your bank account. You can also buy directly in your wallet from a credit card. It has been made even available directly from apps like Square or PayPal. In the context of crypto and DeFi, having been rug pulled means to have buy support or decentralized exchange liquidity pool taken away from the market. This results in a sell-death spiral as other liquidity providers, holders, and traders sell to salvage their holdings. Typically, it's a new form of exit scamming where someone will drain the pool at DEX, leaving the token holders unable to trade. Blockchains are distributed ledgers that record every transaction made on the cryptocurrency's network. A 51% attack is an attack on the blockchain by a group of miners who control more than 50% of the network's mining hash rate. Attackers with majority control of the network can interrupt the recording of new blocks by preventing other miners from completing blocks. Changing historical blocks is difficult due to the hard coding of past transactions into the Bitcoin software. So there you have it. I really hope that this comprehensive video helps you to level up your knowledge of this ever-evolving cryptocurrency and DeFi terms. If you're looking for assistance on any topics related to Zilliqa, please feel free to drop me an email at zilliqazebra@gmail.com and I'll do my best to create a video around that topic. Goodbye and talk to you again.